The founder makes or breaks the company, not the product. Every day, there's great products that people think of and even start to make or build. But if they're not a good enough founder, that great revolutionary product, it dies. And we're back
with another episode of He Said, She Said. And life is moving really quickly right now for both of us.
Warp speed.
Warp speed. And it hasn't always been this way. I feel like the amount of things that we are learning and dabbling in and just becoming aware of in our own lives and our own selves. And every year it's so cool because this stuff really works, you guys. Like this personal development, mastermind, business as personal development in general, I'm telling you, if you approach it with the right people, with the right network, with the right mindset, it truly is something that is life-changing and every year can get better and better. And I want to share with you that we really have been learning so much about just optimizing our life, where we're going, who we want to do that with, having boundaries, getting clear on our vision. And right now, we want to give you a few of our personal life updates because we are learning so much at a warped speed, like warp speed. Not a warped speed, a warp speed. And so, Chris, you have been on this crazy trajectory because you've been in so many different rooms and expanding your network right now. So tell me a little bit about what you have been doing that you feel has been kind of like fast tracking you on your own business and development.
Well, it's nuts, right? So for context, the podcast is growing quickly right now at the same time as we are moving at lightning speed on the development of our peer-to-peer lending app, which, by the way, I got to do a whole episode just on that. I realized how few people, when I say that, actually realize what we're building. I guess, sometimes you just make the assumption that everybody knows what you're doing and what it is.
And you think you're talking about it everywhere, but you're like, oh, I'm actually not.
Yeah, the last two events that I've ran and spoke at, I'd mention it and I bring it up. And then I say, by the way, who in here actually knows what we're doing? And like, less than half the room.
Oh my God.
And these are people that follow and listen on a regular basis.
I just have to say, of course I'm a proud wife, but when it's something that I'm like, I think that'll be good. Like, great. I'm going to get behind you no matter what. This is going to literally change everyone's lives who is going to use the app. And I know Chris is going to go in depth on it, but it's going to cover so many different demographics of people are going to be able to use this app. And it's going to completely change the way that people operate. And I'm just going to leave it at that for now. We'll do a whole, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a standalone episode. It'll come out within a week of this one that will tell exactly what it is. That way everyone will be caught up to speed. Anyhow, that thing's moving at lightning speed. And it's not a little app. It's not like, we're testing the waters. This is an 8-figure investment out of the gates, change what people do when they're in a financial jam forever kind of app. So that's exciting. And then we did this thing called the Roundtable, right? So you and I left Brendan's 3-day thing and it changed our life so much. Like, hey, we got to put this together for other people. And so we put together a 2-day Roundtable group strategy session. 14 people came. And the idea was that they would share business advice with each other and share their struggles with each other. And, everyone would come out of the room with, having moved their business forward. I underestimated how much they would freaking love it. I just finished up yesterday, the 2 days. They asked me at the end of it, unsolicited, they all raised their hand and asked if I would book another one and then made me choose a date, pull out the calendar, choose a date. So I guess we're doing another one besides the 2 that sold out in just a number of hours. So we're doing a third one. So I just have to share why this is crazy is because number one, we got the download at Brendan's event where we're like, this rocked our world, this particular format as well. And not everyone can commit to a 1 year.
Right.
And so what if you just got to pop into these things when you needed them?
Yep. A la carte.
A la carte. And also what is blowing my mind is that from this a la carte event that we thought people would maybe do 2 or 3 a year, you have someone who just went who are like, when can I come next? Because this has blown my mind. And I can integrate these things into my business. And I can't imagine what would happen if I had these daily checkups, right? It's like going to the gym. It's like going for a tune-up in your car. We work so much in our business that we forget to work on it. And that You bring in 20 different industries into one room. Imagine the magic from every industry that crosses over. And no matter what you're thinking right now, like I can learn things from people in brick and mortar industries. I can learn things from people in the health and beauty industry. Like I want to know what everyone is doing for their marketing, for their clientele, for their hospitality. That is when you start to really, really get a successful business.
By the way, I got feedback there. I made a joke about the dogs always being in the way and being on the podcast. And a couple of people are like, oh my God, we've heard the dogs in the podcast lately. We love it. It's so relatable. Thank God, because right now I've got bananas on my lap and I've got Bonkers chewing on it was my hand, now my calf. And they're gnawing at each other, right? So I've got 140 pounds of dog on me gnawing at each other while I try and record this thing. So I'm glad that people find it relatable.
This is cracking me up. I'm like, can I film this while this records?
I don't know. No, because then it switches over. Don't do it, Lori.
Not doing it.
Because it switches over the audio.
Never mind.
See, you guys do. That's what it sounds like in our house. Live coaching. Lori's like, can I do something with these electronics? I'm like, don't do it.
Okay, next time I'm getting your phone because this has to be filmed because he's leaning back.
Covered in dog.
He was in a back bend over the couch, still talking while the dogs are crawling over his torso, fighting on him.
And they think this little mini microphone is like a toy, so they keep trying to get it out of my hand.
They're enthralled by this mini influencer microphone.
It is kind of funny looking. It looks like a little dog toy. So I mean, so that was fascinating to actually watch that happen, to have them be like, book another one. We're serious. So when I say book another one, I'm not exaggerating. We had 14 people in the room. 7 of them paid for the one that they made me invent and put on the spot. Like, that's crazy.
Okay, but why this is so cool is I want you guys, whenever you listen to our podcast, obviously, to be an active listener around where is something in your life where you're getting pinged? What is something that worked for you that you're like, oh my God, how could I recreate this? Maybe you recreate it in a small way, right? Brendan had 50 people in the room?
36.
But how could you do this right now, even in a smaller group, in a smaller way? So I just think that there are so many ideas around us and ideas swirling out there that if you're feeling called to anything or called to being in one of these rooms, there's a reason. There's never not a reason why you're feeling called to something. So Chris, can you think of anything big that came out of there? Some big advice, because I know not everyone can be in the room yet, but anything that could really help somebody or something that's universal right now that they might want to look at in their business.
By the way, I'm glad you asked that, because that's something that also came up in there. They're like, we love that you guys just share everything on the show, even if somebody couldn't buy the course or be at the event or something like that. And that's always the goal, is for people to learn. Well, listen, here's the common theme of the 2 days. The bulk majority of the room, they were asking each other, here's my prices. I know I need to raise them. I'm not meeting my goals if I don't. And I'm so afraid that people are either going to leave me if I raise my prices, or I won't get any new clients if I raise my prices. And these aren't individuals that were like just raising their prices because more is more. These are people that were grossly undercharging for their really good services, grossly undercharging for their social media services, grossly undercharging for their gym memberships at their gym, grossly undercharging for their coaching, right? Like, it was really neat to see this common theme kind of pop up and everyone be like, wait, we all have this problem.
I just want to share too, I ended up sitting by somebody who was one of the people who was like, I learned that I need to up my prices right away. And something that she had mentioned when she said it is, I've been really struggling with like feeling like my clients are an ideal fit. Like they're not the type of people who are taking things serious. And I just want like a more quality clientele who's going to take what I'm telling them and put it to use, and a more serious clientele. And I was like, that's what you're going to get when people pay more. They're going to take it more serious. So I just find that crazy that, there's a lot of things that go on. If you are somebody right now who's like, I'm scared to charge more, but I'm also feeling like these are not necessarily the people that I want to work with.
Well, this is interesting. So, the fear was I won't find enough people if I do. So I would ask them, and I'm thinking of one couple in particular, but we did this with a lot of people. I would ask them, I'd say, okay, how many available customers do you think you have in your area or that follow you or whatever, right? And they'd give a number. And I'd draw this big white circle on the whiteboard. I'm thinking of a session in particular at the end that I did with these people. And I said, okay, this circle represents the 200,000 people that you said could be gym members in your town. And I said, how many do you need to max out your gym, paying members, 450. I said, okay, if this big white circle I just drew represents 200,000 people, I want you to come up here with a marker and I want you to fill it in. What do you think 450 people out of 200,000 looks like on this circle of available customers? And he goes up there and he puts like the tiniest dot of a sliver of like you can't even see it. And I'm like, there's your visual. That is all you need out of the number of available customers. All this other white space, these are the people that can tell you no and you're still going to crush your goals. So freaking just release this fear, charge what you're supposed to charge, and then get word out there. And that was the other thing. People had the common thread of, and this still goes for a lot of people listening. You guys are awesome practitioners at what you do. You have awesome products. You have awesome businesses. But do you know what you have? You have an audience problem. And you're not spending enough time, enough money, enough resources on actively building your audience. Instead, you're just selling and selling and selling to the same small group, small audience that you have, and then wondering why things aren't growing. So you've got to put time, money, energy, and effort and resources into growing your audience. And that sounds simple, yet nobody's doing it. And then they're wondering what's going on.
Yeah, you have to do exercises like this whenever you're thinking of charging for anything. Because what people do is they go, what do I think I could get for it? Like, what do I think my value is? And honestly, that's probably going to be a low number because you don't know yet. You don't understand yet. And if you haven't gone out and really looked at what other people are pricing at and gotten second opinions and looked at what your ideal client is already paying other people, you're probably going to grossly undercharge, which is not going to get the clientele that you want. So it's so important to do exercises like this before you start charging.
Hey y'all, if you didn't know, Earn Your Happy is now a part of the Growth Day Podcast Network. This is so exciting to me because I have been looking for a really good home for the show for, I can't even tell you, years, literally. And now I've finally been able to come together and collaborate with other people who have incredible shows, and I want to share them with you. One of the shows is Motivation with Brendon Bouchard. And you guys, if you don't know about the beginning of my career, I literally started with Brendon Bouchard's work. It's how I launched one of my very first online courses and membership sites, was because he gives so much advice that you can integrate and implement immediately. And that's what you're going to get on the show. Not just motivation, but you're going to learn exactly how to get your stuff out in the world. And not just that, but Brendon runs in the most incredible group of humans who are really doing the thing out in the world that you want to be doing. So go check it out. Go subscribe to Motivation with Brendon Bouchard. I promise you, this is going to be one of those shows that no matter when you tune in, you're going to get value. Like, it's not one of those that you're like, God, I listened for 30 minutes and I didn't get what I wanted. Like, from the beginning, you're going to get something that changes your life or changes your business. So go check it out. Motivation with Brendon Bouchard. I know you're going to love it. I'm obsessed.
Update. So that crash that you just heard, Bonkers went out into the house, found a bully stick, which is held by this huge plastic thing, dropped it on the floor, dropped it on my toe.
No, this is not going to happen.
Yeah, this is going to be loud.
This is not.
We don't even edit
buddy.
this stuff out anymore. Now we just tell you like what it's like we have 6,000 square feet. We can't hide from these dogs anywhere.
No.
What's going on in your life?
Oh my gosh. I feel like.
Now he's going up by you.
I feel like the planets have finally aligned. Like maybe my whole life was in retrograde for the last 2 years. I'm just kidding.
40 years of retrograde?
Yeah, exactly.
Mercury in retrograde?
Truly, with this product and this pivot that I'm doing, I couldn't be more excited and feel more aligned. And you know the Steve Jobs quote, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backward. I am truly in a place where I can see why everything happened the way that it did. I feel on fire with the collaborations, with who's coming in to be a part of this company, with the team that we're creating. It's literally like all of a sudden when you do the hard thing and you get in alignment, like truly in alignment. And I don't even know what other word to use right now. I'm going to do just like Chris is going to do a whole podcast on his. I am probably 2 or 3 weeks out from doing an entire deep dive download on everything that has occurred to bring you guys along with me
on what your pivot is,
what my pivot is, to show you things in your business that I really hope that my journey can also help you avoid and learn from. And I also know that that's why so many of the things happen, is because a lot of this, the purpose for this company was for me to be able to truly teach women how to be able to create new opportunities for themselves and to get bigger opportunities. And let me tell you, there is nothing like what I learned that's going to help them understand and navigate these huge opportunities that are literally waiting for you. And I know that my story is going to give you the clarity and confidence boost that you need to know that this is possible for you and what this journey really looks like.
Well, when you finally announce your pivot, hey, if you look, product's ready, going to market, all these fun things. One, people are going to be shocked. But two, one of the most important things is that they're going to be able to learn from your ability to keep kicking down walls and realize when it's time to pivot, and then take hold, take charge, not stick your head in the sand and cry when you could have 100 times and it would have been justified. And I say it all the time. The founder makes or breaks the company, not the product. Every day, there's great products that people think of and even start to make or build. But if they're not a good enough founder, that great revolutionary product, it dies. But the inverse is true. Every day, even if it was a mediocre idea or mediocre product, if there's a great founder, they will always make it successful. And then in some cases, when you've got a life-changing product and all of a sudden the economy and the world changes and you're forced to change that product into a different product, as long as you're a great founder, then you're still going to thrive. And that's what makes you a great founder.
Yes. And I am like, I've just surrounded myself with such an incredible network. And I want to say not just surrounded, I have actively, especially in the last 3 to 4 months, asked, engaged, like nonstop asked for favors, strategy sessions. Like this was the hard part. Like it's easy to get a network. And I'm not saying it's easy. It's simple to get a network. I'm going to do a whole podcast on it actually on a quickie next week. So you guys can listen in to how to build a network, all of those things. I'm going to share everything on it, like exactly what I've done. But it's another thing to use it, right? I looked around at my network and recently, so what I'm really in right now is, am I exhausting all of my resources as I'm getting scrappy to launch and just to get out there in the world? So I want to give this company all of the energy, effort, advantages that it's going to need to be what I believe this thing can be out in the world. And I believe that this can be multi-$100 million company. I really feel that in my core. And I know that that is literally going to have to come from me shaking the trees and exhausting this network of these incredible founders that I know and people who work in these companies.
By the way, speaking of good founders always finding a way, 2 of your investors DM'd me, and I forgot to tell you, totally unsolicited, saying this is exactly why we invested in Lori and why we're so excited about the pivot. Because remember, they've gotten the investor letters. They already know what the pivot is. And so the reason they solicit, or why they DM'd me unsolicited, is I had an Instagram post the other day. You and I were being interviewed on the Clever Investor, and I had said something about it's always the founder, good products every day. They don't make it, but a bad product with a good founder will, all that stuff, right? So I put that clip out on Instagram. That is why a couple of your investors started DMing me when they saw it. They're like, oh my God, this is why we invested in Lori. We loved the first product, but we are more excited about the second product. And we knew that she would always be the common denominator that made it successful.
Oh my God. Well, that makes me feel so good.
I'll tell you who it is offline.
Okay. Makes me feel so good because guys, there's a whole other place that you go as anyone doing anything. And you know this, if you're listening to this podcast, you know that personal or that business is the most extreme version of personal development you can sign up for. You're going to go to the darkest places and the highest places, and it is going to put all of your shit right in front of you and be the most confronting thing you've ever experienced in your entire life. So I just think that's why it's so important to get in the rooms, listen to these podcasts of the people who are going through what you're about to go through or who are going through it with you. So also what else is exciting? Christopher Harder.
I feel like I'm in trouble when you say that.
Oh my gosh. But sometimes I call him Chrissy. I don't know. It's fine. It takes the edge off, is that I am putting together a workshop.
1 day workshop.
A 1 day workshop on expanding your brand and network. You guys, mark your calendar. It is June 3rd, Saturday, June 3rd in Scottsdale area, Scottsdale, Arizona. And it is going to blow your mind. I am partnering up with Katrina Scott, a co-founder of Tone It Up, you guys. She is a branding genius, a branding expert. We are bringing in some other incredible speakers. This is going to be anything on expanding your brand and teaching you how to build your network. And not only that, you're going to create your network there. So this is going to be if you want other income streams, if you want to
grow
expand
your audience
into, grow your audience, expand into podcasting. What does it look like to write a book? Is it time for a product? What does that look like? How do you know if it's time? Opt-ins, are you leaving anything on the table? It's growing your email list. It's running masterminds. It's events. It's small dinners. It's literally all of these different things that you're leaving on the table and you're not monetizing. And we're going to be telling you all about how to do them, how to start small or how to go big. And then we're going to wrap up the day with a panel where you're going to be able to ask any and all questions to experts in the industry that you would never, ever get to be in a room with, ever, to ask these questions. People who have grown incredible brands or incredible events or bestsellers. You guys, it's going to blow your mind. And this is definitely going to be the event that it will probably be your best bargain yet because it's the first one. So we're not going to charge what we're going to charge for the second one if we end up doing it again, which I think that we will because there's already so many people. We kind of soft pitched this at your event and already have like 7 women coming. I have a text list where I already have 20 people on the list who say they're coming. So it's going to be intimate. It's going to not be a huge event.
No,
so you guys,
it's a small workshop.
It's a very small workshop. So if you want to go, you're going to need to get on the VIP text list now.
It's cool how it came about because you and Katrina we're sitting here, me, Brian, you, Katrina, talking about how like she grew and built such a beautiful freaking brand at Tone It Up and how it became such a juggernaut, like the leader in the fitness brand. And now you can't go into Target and anywhere else without seeing their stuff everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were talking about like, gosh, we took such a different route, monetizing through podcasts and big events and all these other and
courses.
And the way the two of you are like, wow, I didn't know how to monetize the way you did. And you're like, I didn't know how to monetize the way you did.
Yeah.
And you guys said, let's just put together this day where we show everyone their options, where we like lift the curtain on, hey, here's how to grow an audience. Here's how to actually like be a real brand, not a fake like wannabe brand. And then here's all your options for monetizing it. Mm-hmm. Because you wish that you would have known some of the things that they knew back then. And then they wished that they knew some of the things that we knew when it came to monetizing and podcasting and all that. So it's just cool to watch the two of you. It's not like you woke up and said, gee, I have space on my calendar. No. It's neat to watch the two of you say, let's just have a day teaching what each of us kind of wish that we knew that the other one was good at.
We are so excited because it's both of our zones of genius. And we know that this is about to change the game for people because we have such different backgrounds. So with her, and she's grown a community, like effectively Tone It Up has grown a community that I have never, ever seen before, where meetups in multiple meetups in every single state without them even being present. When they do their events, they would get anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 people without like even having to rally hard, like very, very crazy community where people on Instagram are literally naming their handles after their business. Mm-hmm. Like that is mind blowing. Like, how do you get there? So those are going to be some of the inside conversations. And then I have to tell you that she has been my aesthetic muse since, literally probably 15 years ago. This girl knows how to put together a brand in a way that just makes you feel like it's a brand before it's a brand. So really, what is that? How do you do that? How do you find that? What's the personality? How do we create this thing into making people just feel like it's already established when it's new or newer or rebranded? And she's just a genius with that in so many ways. And I am the girl who's going to just get you out there doing the thing way before you're ready. I'm going to give you the confidence. I'm going to give you the know-how. I'm going to give you every single step. And we're going to make sure that you're out there getting these new opportunities into your business. And I promise you, by the time that you leave, you're not going to be worried that you're not enough or that you don't know how. Like, it will be laid out for you.
Yeah. I mean, the space you guys booked, it only fits like 40 to 50 people. So
Yep.
Small, intimate, action-taking one day that'll totally change your lives. And I just want to commend the two of you for putting it on. I don't mean to be redundant, but it's not like the two of you wake up and say, gee, we have space on our calendar. I know I already said that, but it's really true if people actually saw how much stuff each of you guys have going on. So I just really commend you guys for taking a day and just following the idea and saying, screw it, let's do it.
We're just so excited about it. We think that this is potentially the beginning of something like just out of this world. But honestly, we're just most excited about this one event and what it could be. Like, we're allowing it to just show us what it's meant to be as well, but have this incredible format for you guys to break through and create other income streams, which I think is everything right now and so incredibly important to have. So you guys, if you want to be on this list, you have to text me the word workshop to 310-496-8363. That's workshop to 310-496-8363. I will keep you on the VIP list. I will let you know every detail as it rolls out. And I can't wait to see you there, because truly it's going to be an all-day workshop. We're going to have an amazing lunch. We're going to have incredible guests. It's going to be in such a great location, so much fun, tons of networking. You're going to leave with friends, with partners, with maybe business partners, with people who are going to support you if you don't have the support that you want in your life.
Text the word workshop. I'm going to make you say it one more time because you flew through that number.
Workshop to 310-496-8363.
Love it. Well, listen, guys, thanks for listening to our rambling tonight, our life update. Always love and appreciate you guys. And don't be afraid to DM us with whatever struck you.
Send me any questions that you have as well. And we're always so grateful. And until next week, we will see you later. Bye, everyone.
Adios.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. And I want to make sure that you have my phone number, and I'm not kidding. Did you know that I have a community text number? For real. My phone number is 310-496-8363. This goes directly to my phone. All you have to do is text the word daily to 310-496-8363. And I literally text you every single day, Monday through Friday. I actually just got done 30 seconds ago texting a bunch of people back, and I talk to you all of the time. You guys, people always ask me how I got my community text number and how it works. Well, all you have to do is you can just go to community.com and get your own. Community makes it easy to get a phone number that you can use to build your audience using text. People just text you at your number and they're added to your group. Then you can text them out audios, video links, anything you want. You guys, I text out happy birthday videos. I love to send podcast links, thoughts about life, book recommendations, different events that I'm doing in the local area. Texting gets me out of the noise of social media and directly into your hand. And now you can start texting your people too. Just go to community.com to get your phone number. They give you a 10-digit real phone number, not those weird short codes that look like spam, but it's more than a phone phone number. Your new number comes with an inbox for SMS and texting. This means you can actually manage your text list from your computer and an app on your phone. You can schedule text to send at certain times and to certain groups. You can even set up auto replies or let your assistant or customer service team answer your text messages via Community's awesome dashboard. Just go to community.com and ask for a free demo. They'll show you how it works and get you your number. It's time to start texting your audience versus just posting on social media. Everyone uses Community for that. So go check them out at community.com. I can tell you it's not just great for communicating with my audience, but Chris and I use Community and our texts to also sell out our launches. I'm telling you, you get such an incredible response because you really are creating a true, deep sense of community. And it's so intimate. It's freaking amazing. Go check it out at community.com. Hey, I know if you're listening to this podcast that you have big dreams and big goals. And one of the things that can really stop you is struggling with your marketing. Trust me, I have been there. Are you using 10 different systems just to build your online business? Then I want you to try Kajabi. Kajabi helps you build your web pages, set up funnels, and sell your courses, content, coaching, or communities. You've been hearing me talk a lot about funnels on this podcast and the importance of your email list. You can get a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com. I've talked about Kajabi before, but here's something that's super cool and new. They just rolled out an AI assistant for creating your online course curriculum. And this means you just type in a topic that you want to create on a course or webinar and bam, it just generates a sample outline for you. It takes a ton of the hard work away. Of course, you're going to customize it to be your own, but this really helps you get over the struggle of how in the world to start, which is where most people stop. If you're like me, starting is always the hardest part, and that's what makes Kajabi so popular. They've made it easier for creators to build web pages, build courses, build coaching programs, build membership sites, build checkout pages, and build email funnels. So if you're struggling with any of those, you got to go check it out. Go to kajabi.com. Kajabi was really the first all-in-one system and is trusted by over 100,000 creators. I think that's good enough for me. Also has influencers and marketers who use this. And now their smart AI platform makes it easy to take what you know and turn it into an online course and business. Go start building with a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com.